Lott Esmond here, your host of Betting in the Break, where we try to get you to grow your bankroll or get well, one way or the other. You're either at the end of these late afternoon games, you're either running to the ATM because you got to reload, or you're cashing some tickets. And don't tell me you're taking the money off the table. Come on. We're all sports bettors here. We know what we do. No. I got to roll it for that late game. So that's what we're going to help you do. And we've got the help of Tony K. He is the CEO of Vegas Top Dogs. Scott Keyport from Little Creek Casino Sportsbook actually will be able to do a couple of picks, and we'll explain why. But we should get right to the big news, which is Alabama is down 33-28 with about 8 minutes left in this game, and the Vanderbilt Commodores are knocking on the door. They are at about the 9-yard line. I believe it is second down, with about 3 yards to go. And it looks like number one might get knocked off here, Tony.
Yeah, I don't think anyone saw this coming. Not money line, straight up win for Vanderbilt possibly here. This will be a huge upset and really shake up the standings.
Yeah, I've been having a very good day. I'm 4-0 right now in college football picks. I had several early games. I had this pegged as a big win for Alabama because I watch Kalen DeBoer very closely because I'm in Washington, and so I'm in Husky land or Cougar land, and I happen to be a Husky fan. And so I watched that team play every single game, and I never saw them in a let-up situation. I never saw them not focused. I never saw them not ready to play. So my play was based on, hey, Kalen DeBoer's teams are always ready to play, and Alabama's athletes are just superior to Vanderbilt's. And Vanderbilt has taken it to them physically, which I've never seen an Alabama team get manhandled except by Georgia. So it's Scott. Where's the action on at your sports book on this game?
I actually had to go look at that really quick. I do not have a single money line bet on that. Luckily, People didn't want to take the minus 2,000 for Alabama, and nobody took a shot on Vanderbilt. So I can relax and enjoy the end of that game.
Well, there you go. Okay, Scott, we got again. The whole point of this show is help people with the late game picks, help them get right or grow the bankroll. You've got several. Let's roll.
Are you going with me or Tony?
No. I'm sorry, Tony.
Oh, okay.
My bad.
Well, let's start with baseball. San Diego takes on the Dodgers tonight, game 1. And Padres are hot. I mean, they've been one of the hottest teams since the All-Star break, and they seem to have the Dodgers number recently. The offense is playing well for the Padres. I think they have the number one team batting average. I think they're batting .273 as a team, so they're hitting the ball. They played well against the Dodgers this season. They're an underdog tonight. They have a great bullpen. That's what you need in the postseason. I like San Diego to steal one here tonight on the road.
All right, and then college football.
College football, we have a big game tonight. Michigan takes on Washington, number 10 ranked Michigan. This is their first true road game of the season. I think they're a little bit overrated here. And Washington's 2 losses, they still outgained their opponent despite their 2 losses. 3-2 record. Their quarterback's playing great. 10 TD passes, 0 interceptions. This is a big revenge game for them from the national championship. They're at home, primetime game. I like Washington here tonight. Washington Huskies, my selection in that game.
And is that plus the points, or are you taking them straight up on the money line?
Let's take the points.
Are they favored? Sorry.
Last I saw, they were -1.5, unless the odds changed on that.
Scott, normally you can't do any picks, but because of a oddity in the Washington law, you can. So what's the line, and what do you like in that Washington Huskies game against Michigan?
I liked Michigan with the points, but I thought the spread – I don't see them here, so I thought the spread was closer to 3. If that spread is that low, then I think I go Washington. But I thought Michigan had a chance to cover, and I don't know why. That's why I'm behind the counter, though, because I'm not pros like you guys. But my gut just says Michigan tonight, but that's why I'm behind the counter. We'll see.
Yeah, I was shook up.
I was
shook up by Washington's loss to Washington State. and I haven't really regained my full faith in the team. So I'll let you two guys fight about that game. That's not one of my picks. Okay, you've got one more, I believe. Is it the Georgia Tech game?
Correct. Duke and
All right.
Georgia Tech. Duke's 5-0 this season, but they played a pretty soft schedule. I mean, their only tough game was North Carolina, and that's why they're 5-0. Georgia Tech, they have 2 losses, both of them on the road. They're very good at home. They're good at rushing the ball. I think Duke's going to have a hard time stopping their rushing attack, and I look for Georgia Tech to come out strong here. It's a big conference game. I think they'll come out strong here at home, knock off the undefeated Blue Devils tonight. I like Georgia Tech by 17 or more in a blowout.
Wow. Just a quick update. The Vanderbilt Commodores just scored to go up 39-28 on number 1 Alabama with 5 minutes and 7 seconds left.
Wow.
This is a 2-score game.
This Georgia Tech game, I did pick out one trend this morning. In the morning games, I noticed anytime the public and the sharp money ticket count and handle were all just completely lopsided especially on the totals, it would go the other way. So, and this is one of those games that we have all the ticket count, all the money is on the under. So if you want to go with the sharp and the public, you take the under. The trend for the day would be to hit the over. I can't tell you what to do, but that's the trend I saw.
Well, that's the kind of information we want from the guy behind the counter. So you're getting that right here on Betting in the Break. All right, I got 3 college games that I've got to get out because they're going to kick in less than 10 minutes. Baylor at Iowa State, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 West. Baylor is not as bad as their 2-3 record indicates. They've been close in all the games. They've been moving the ball. They can score some points. But, man, they haven't seen a defense like the one they're going to face in Ames tonight against the Cyclones of Iowa State. Iowa State's defense is allowing 7.3 points per game. That's good for 4th in the nation. 253 yards per game, 11th in the nation. Iowa State has not exceeded 21 points in 3 out of 4 games this year. So with Iowa State not scoring a lot, and with the fact that Baylor is going to really have trouble scoring against that Iowa State defense, I like the under here, under 45 points in Baylor and Iowa State. USC, and I've got so many annoying USC fan friends from Southern California. USC scores 8 more points than the Gophers, who they're playing tonight at Minnesota. They can consistently score. The difference is this year they can play defense. They only allow 17 points per game. The Gophers are even better at 13.4. Both these teams lost by Michigan by exactly the same total, 3 points. That means they're closer in terms of overall ability than you might think when you go, hey, USC, they're great. Oh, Minnesota, they're okay. Not so much. I like the home team here, +8. I don't think either team is going to score a ton. A bit of a rock fight in this game, and so +8 points at Minnesota, I'll take it. Tennessee at Arkansas. Arkansas is a program on the rise, and I've spent a lot of time there. I like the people. I like Arkansas. I like it. I think it's more interesting when Arkansas is competitive. But Tennessee, wow. They are at the top echelon of college football on offense and defense. They're explosive. They have speed and athleticism all over the field. I'm a little worried that this line has moved all the way up to 15.5. But I've been riding big spreads with Tennessee and winning all season long. So I'm going to do that again. So there are my college picks. We've got Tony K's college picks. Scott, do you have anything else that you want to add before we move on to the NFL?
We're just looking at that Tennessee game, and we do have a lot of the handle is definitely favoring Tennessee on the point spread and the money line. So that looks like,
oh boy, that means
other sharps like you are coming in on that one.
Okay,
so
well, hope so. Tennessee has looked fantastic. So this one I have. If I was to say rank these in order, I think Baylor at Iowa State is number 1 with the under. Number 2 is Tennessee at Arkansas, and then USC does have a possibility that they can go off and score. If that happens, Minnesota's not going to be able to keep up, but I don't think it is. All right, Tony, on the NFL tomorrow morning, what do you like? You got anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, I do like the early game. It's an early 9:30 a.m. kickoff. I know that'll be early
6:30
6:30
a.m.
your
for us
time.
on the 6:30 a.m. for us on the West Coast. Just saying.
Get up early for some Vikings-Jets football. Now, I think the Jets defense is playing very well, but the offense has been struggling. I think Aaron Rodgers is due for a breakout game here, but I don't like the flight to London. Minnesota has even a longer flight. It's 8 to 10 hours, depending on, if they have a nonstop or direct flight for the Vikings. Jets, great defense. Their secondary is very good. I think Sam Darnold's going to have trouble here in this game, moving the offense down the field. I like a player prop in this game. I like him under 220 passing yards. 220 and a half is the number. We're going to take Sam Darnold under. They're playing in London. It's a soccer field. It tends to get slick sometimes in these games. So I think the under is the play here with Sam Darnold.
These London games, these overseas games, I remember the Raiders played in Mexico City or something crazy, and then we had a game in Brazil. These foreign games, I have a really hard time personally betting on because weird stuff always, it just seems like weird things always happen, that you get really strange outcomes in these, and who knows? The players are completely out of their element. They're not in their normal routine at all. I don't know. I know Aaron Rodgers was given a bunch of interviews and was all over London TV. So that kind of concerns me that, he isn't exactly focused. Right. But we'll see. But if I was to do anything in this game, I would go under the 40.5. I know it seems like a really low total for the NFL, but you're talking about a Jets team that scored 9 points against Denver. And Minnesota's defense has been playing fantastic. So, and I think you're right. I think Sam Darnold struggles a bit in this game. He's got to come back to earth a little bit. So, I'm not going to pick a side in this one. Once again, you are on the Jets in this game. But I'm gonna go slightly different direction, and I'm gonna go this game. I like the under in that. All right, Tony. Anything else on the NFL you want to get out there?
No, that's my only selection I have lined up. I do have some premium plays on my website, but I just had the one game.
And that website is?
The Jets and the under are my opinions, and then I have Sam Darnold under for my player prop.
Okay, and where can they find your premium picks?
Just go to VegasTopDogs.com. Premium picks, free picks, articles, sportsbook bonuses, and more. VegasTopDogs.com.
No, and Tony,
Go ahead, Scott.
I like Tony's style. Have a couple player props in your pocket, even if you're not a normal player prop bettor, because sometimes you might get up to the window, get to the kiosk or something, and you just don't like those odds. The odds have changed. You still want to get some action in on a game. The player props are great. You can always find something that feels like a good number in there. So it's nice to have a couple of those in your pocket.
Yeah, and look, the gateway drug to sports betting is fantasy football. And the reason why people play fantasy football, at least for me, is it makes an otherwise nothing game that you wouldn't care about interesting because you've got players playing. So go make a $5 bet on a crazy player prop or something with really high odds, and you never know, you might hit it. It makes the game a lot more interesting. I'll tell you what, anybody that had Vanderbilt on the money line plus 2,000 is, maybe Skip Bayless had Vanderbilt. That's about the only guy in the media that I could think of because he's a Vanderbilt alum. The Seahawks take on the Giants here in Washington. And by the way, you can bet on the professional sports here in Washington. It's a peculiarity of the law that college sports are banned from betting in Washington State. And, Washington teams, college teams are banned from betting here in Washington State. And it's an unusual, I don't know if there's any other state that has that kind of carve out. Nevada used to years ago in Vegas, but it's just an unusual, it's a quirk here. But you can bet on the professional teams. So the Seahawks have the Giants coming to town. They're scoring on average 10 points more per game than the Giants. Their defenses both give up an identical 21 points per game. But the Seahawks have feasted on bad teams. They beat the Broncos before they had started to figure it out. They beat the Patriots, and then they beat the Dolphins without Tua. The first real test they faced was the Detroit Lions, and they got blown out. The Giants got beat up by the Vikings in week 1. Doesn't look so bad now, given how good the Vikings are. They hung within 5 of the Cowboys. They beat the Browns. They stayed within 3 of the Commanders. It makes me really want to take the Giants in this game, and that's what I was going to do. But their star rookie receiver is still in concussion protocol. So without him on the field, if he's a late start, it changes my mind a little bit. But Seattle is a very difficult place to play. They're coming all the way across the country. Besides that rookie wide receiver, they've got Bupkis on offense. And the Seahawks, it's a tough place to play. And the Seahawks have, 3 great receivers, 2 really good running backs, and their defense is playing really well under the new defensive-minded head coach. And then finally, the Raiders at the Broncos. Devontae Adams is bailing on the team. He and the coach are fighting. The organization's a mess. The Broncos are not world beaters by any stretch of the imagination. Who? Alabama just scored a touchdown to make it a 1-score game late. Oh, this is crazy. All right. So that's what I've got on the NFL. Again, I've got some premium picks that you can go look at Winners and Winers. Go look up Loud Esmond. Tony K, I hope you can come back and be on the show regularly. It's great to have you from CEO of Vegas Top Dogs. Thank you for being here. Scott Keyport, I will be seeing you soon because I've got tickets to come cash there at Little Creek.
And that's so I'm out here representing these physical sports book in person. The apps are fun, but I was telling Tony that at 9:30. Yeah, 9:30 last night. I didn't even know I had customers in the sports book. I was kind of doing some paperwork, and all of a sudden there were screams and yells and hoops and hollers because that field goal went through for Michigan State and hit the point spread. And it's a great feeling being in a sports book and yelling and screaming on a 24 point spread game and at 9:00 at night. That's fun. That's a good time. Yeah. So I like to represent for any sports book out there. Go in and say hi to them, grab a beer, sit down in the chairs, have some fun.
Absolutely.
It's like being at a sports bar on steroids because everybody's got money on the line.
Everybody cares.
Everybody cares. All right. This has been Betting in the Break, where we help you get right or grow your bankroll in the late games. We'll be back on tomorrow at 4:15. We'll be talking about Sunday night football, Monday night football, and Thursday night football, and, of course, the Sunday that was. All right, everybody, let's go catch the end of this Alabama game and see if they can come back or if it's going to be one of the biggest upsets of all time as the Commodores try to take down number 1, and we're a 22.5-point dog. Thanks, everybody. We're out of here.